I'm going to talk about how do you get or test your business model. So you have done all the work on the business model canvas, and you basically, you've got everything down on that. You use the business model canvas, you brainstormed, and you have integrated various business models on it. So how do you test this business model? So it's done. So how do you test the business model? Now this is very critical because you can't just develop everything for a business model and do all the work, and then eventually you find out that it was the wrong business model. Because remember, everything you've put down on that business model is what we call in academic world hypotheses. It is things, assumptions you are making, and you think things will work the way that you think, but often it doesn't happen that way. It's a best guess, or it's the best that you can come up with in terms of guessing what people actually want and what your business model will be like in the end. It moves us a bit forward. So if you wondered what is the point, it actually moves us forward in terms of getting something on the table to test. That's basically the point of going through a brainstorming session, is to have something to actually test, and then get better information based on that framework from your market. So you look at your business model and you look at what is the best place to actually start. So you look at all those 9 areas and you say, okay, which is the one thing, and you start there. What is the number one thing? If that thing fails, this whole thing will fail. That's the thing you would want to test first. So this concept is based on Abraham Y. Goldratt with the theory of constraints. Every business have only one point of failure, always, right? Or only one constraint. There's only one big problem that you need to focus on right now. This is in your life, in your business, everything. So what would be that number one thing in your business model that if that doesn't happen, it doesn't matter what happens with the others, that thing is the bottleneck, the problem that you need to establish very quickly, very fast, that if that thing does not work out, will this business model, will you be able to accommodate it or not? If not, then that thing is the thing you choose. Now, here's a tip. Often, in most cases, not in all the cases, but in most cases, you can look at your market, the value proposition. If the people want it, if your market wants that, then you can tick that thing off. That is often the first point of failure of most business models, is the value proposition, is what you think your market wants, and you haven't validated that yet. So that's the first thing normally that people need to validate in their business models. So have a look at that. Have a look at your value proposition. Is this what customers want? And how do we find that out? Call 7 to 10 people and ask them, right? Once you've got information, adapt if you need to adapt there, and adapt the rest of the model. But that's not where you should stop. You're still not done, because people can still say, yeah, they like it because they like you. But will they take out money to pay for it? And that is where, the first pre-launch of that concept needs to come from. So once you got all the feedback from the 7 to 10 people, then you can actually go and launch this thing and say, see how many people are actually willing to pull out money off their wallets and give it to you, based on your value proposition, and based on a presentation perhaps of it in some way or another. So that is one way that I propose you are looking at it. But now remember, if you cannot find, you will tell me, where will I find 7 or 10 people? My question back to you is, if you can't find 7 or 10 to 10 people to call, does that market exist? Or do you have actually access to that market? Because that's also a question on your business model. Do you have access to the market? Can you reach your market? That's part of the question that we need to ask very early in the process. So think about that. If you can't access it, do you really have access to the market? Does it really exist? Do you have the skill to get to the market? If you don't have the skill, get someone with the skill, because then that's actually the point of failure, is your partnerships in your business might not be right. Okay, so maybe get someone who have the skills to reach the market. Okay, so think about this when you look at your business model. Stand away from it, look at it from a distance, and say, okay, where's my point of failure? And that is where you basically start in terms of testing. So once you've got that, you prototype it, and you launch it into the market, and you then get that feedback, and then you make your changes again on that. So the three is: you design it, you prototype, and you test. Those are the three steps that you go through, or phases that you go through, in order to validate your business model. And that is very critical before you actually invest any money actually in your business.